I had some people ask me some questions about the tow hitch. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to remove this plastic piece. The instructions say that you have to remove this seal piece, but I really don't think you do. This piece, you pop these up. There's some plastic nuts in there. They don't unscrew. You basically just have to force this out. So you can take these things out and you can grab a hold by here and just pull it out. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one back there. So that's the only thing holding this in. The connector, the electrical connector, is approximately here underneath this plastic thing. So just to kind of give an idea of what it looks like, it's approximately here. And then the electrical wiring, you'll pull it up through underneath this plastic bit. It'll pull through here and you'll plug everything in. There's a grounding strap that goes right here that you have to unbolt and then bolt back in. And then you put the module up underneath this plastic thing. You kind of just tuck it under there. And then the wiring just runs to that connector. So it's a very easy. The electrical connectors, I don't see how you could mess it up, honestly. The only other the only other thing that you have to do is you have to pull. I don't know if you can see here. Let me. The plastic down here, you have to remove it. There's these little plastic clips. So there's one right here. The base of them is about 3/8 of an inch. And you'll need a pry tool for those. Once you get those out, that plastic thing you can pull it down. There is 3 10mm nuts that are attached to bolts that you have to take off, and then there's one of those plastic nuts are in here, and you just have to pull it down. You can try and spin them all day long, but they'll just spin. The other thing that is kind of tricky, or seems tricky, is you have to cut this plastic thing around where the hitch goes. But if you look at the underside of the plastic, it's actually scored. So super easy. Yeah, so it's super easy. And if you have any questions, you can contact me on Facebook or on YouTube comments. I'll try to get to everybody. Like I said, super easy. So the wiring goes here on the driver's side, and then you just wrap it underneath to the passenger side, and then it'll go up through the bottom here. There's a big yellow electrical or orange electrical cord, and it goes between that and some cooling lines. There's already a plug there, and the wiring harness has a little rubber grommet that goes back into that hole. So like I said, super easy. Probably take you a couple hours if you're good mechanically. If you're a little bit skeptical, it might take you a little bit longer than that, but you don't have to remove the rear bumper. Honestly, the hardest part is this plastic here. It's called the bumper cover, or I'm sorry, the hitch cover. This plastic piece, to get it to snap in, is probably the hardest part that I had. And there's not really any finesse. You kind of have to just, make sure all the little plastic things line up, and then you kind of have to smack it real good. So that is really the only part that I had difficulty with. Like I said, if you have any questions, reach out to me on Facebook, Gene Willis, or here on YouTube, you can comment. Like I said, I will try and get to most of them that I can. The other bolting part, so There's a little bracket. So the tow hitch comes in two pieces essentially. So one of them has an upright that goes onto the driver's side, and then there's the passenger side is two pieces. There's a bracket that you just bolt to this side, and then there's some lag bolts that go through that to the part that goes to the other side. So the best way that I did it is you hook this side, you bolt this side in, just a little piece by itself, so you don't have to hold it, right? Because it's just a little piece. You hold it up and you bolt it in. You just get those bolts started. You leave them super loose, and the lower bolts that go through, they have to go in this way, and they'll be captive. You'll see like little square holes on the bracket that they go into, so that they don't spin. And what you'll do is you'll put those in and you leave those super loose, and then you can just pick up this side and you don't have to hold that side. So you just have to pick up this side and then get those bolts lined up and threaded, and then you just bolt it all down as one piece. So again, if you have any questions, that's basically it. It's super easy. All the electrical connectors are plug and play. The other super important part, I think, is at the beginning of the instructions, it tells you to do two things. One of them is to disconnect the 12 volt battery, and the other one is to disable the high voltage. So in here underneath the hood or the frunk, so you'll disconnect that is the negative terminal, right? So you'll just disconnect that, and then you'll pull this little thing out. So basically you squeeze down on this and then just pull it out. This disables the high voltage, so it makes it safe. I really don't, you're not cutting anything or doing anything near. I mean, I guess you are kind of near, but I don't see how it could get cut. The biggest thing that I could see, honestly, with that is you don't want to set a trouble code. So if everything's disconnected, then that won't happen. But the other important thing to remember is before you disconnect the 12 volt battery, you want to make sure the hatch is open. So if you don't open the hatch, then you disconnect the 12 volt battery, then you can't get the hatch open. So make sure you leave the hatch open, then disconnect the 12 volt battery. It also, disconnecting the 12 volt battery keeps your interior lights from staying on and draining your 12 volt battery. We wouldn't want that now, would we? All right, like I said, if you have any questions, reach out. I'll try and answer all of them.